Brian Powell of I Run Far here with Ian Sharman after the 2019 Western States 100. How are you, Ian?
Not bad. I can walk a little bit better than normal today.
Better than normal?
Well, when you can't push quite as hard, you don't trash your legs quite as hard.
So better than normal after the Western States.
I don't mean like compared to a normal day.
Yeah. Didn't think so.
No.
This was your 10th straight Western States finish.
Yeah.
Not the finish you were looking for in some ways.
Not quite. I mean, the time wasn't bad. It was under 17 still. But I thought I'd have to break 16 to be in the top 10. I was hoping for a PR, certainly. So something maybe under 15:30. But wasn't quite the day for that. Legs didn't quite feel it. And little mistakes here and there. You just can't afford to make any errors when it's this competitive and when not many people are dropping out.
So when it's a good year, there's risk and...
Yeah, well, that's why the start line, every year, myself and Jeff Browning, when it's a hot year, we're like high-fiving and yeah, we can have a bad race and it's still going to be top 10.
And
well, that's not the case when it's a cold year.
No, there were a lot of new folks 100-mile distance to this race that...
Really impressive. Really impressive.
Nailed it. I mean, you still have to nail it, right?
Yep.
Because you have that experience. And
well, they still have to get so much right, but there's a lot of people with just a massive amount of talent and speed. Obviously, they work super hard for it.
Totally.
But that's not enough. Huh. You know, there's so many things that can go wrong, and really, for most of them, it didn't.
Yeah. And for you, I mean, what's your marathon PR?
2:32.
2:30.
And those guys are like 20 minutes quicker.
Yeah. So you're going in with a talent deficit.
No, it totally is. No, I've always known that I'm not as quick as those guys. I don't have, I'm not a track athlete. I don't have a 14-minute 5K.
No sub 4 miles.
Downhill, yes. But
you as well. Okay.
I've done a 3:59 in Bend, but no, I can't do that on the track normally. Well, they can.
But you also didn't have a bad day. So for 10 years in a row,
it was the hardest, probably the worst race I've had in terms of things going wrong. Not in terms
Western
of how
States or overall?
At Western States. Okay, yeah. Things went a little bit wrong early on. I had about 3 or 4 bad patches in the early stages, and then really had bad patches from Forest Hill onwards. I had to walk part of the way down to Cal 1.
Really? That's never happened before.
No, because that's a really easy 3.5 mile downhill.
Yeah.
I also had a couple of other patches after the river where I was walking and dizzy and just trying not to fall over, and I couldn't take any food really in the last stages. I think I basically had too much sugar early on.
Okay.
I didn't mix it up enough, and then I was just palate fatigue and nothing would go down.
And was that possibly because it was so nice out and you thought you could just tolerate it, or?
It's partly just that's what they had at aid stations, and take these big gaps between the crew, and usually I don't have stomach problems, so I just wasn't really worrying too much about it. But it shows you can't take anything for granted in 100 miles.
And this was your first time puking at Western States?
First time puking here. I've puked at Leadville and I've puked at Wasatch. But those races were still good races. Yeah. This one, it definitely slowed me down towards the end.
So you still need your Vermont Grand Slam puke?
Yeah, that's the one of the 4. Yeah. I'm not going back to Vermont.
No. Yeah. You're not coming back here next year. Well, you may not be racing this again.
I'm not going to race it next year, no. I mean, I love the race, but it'd be nice to pace someone else. And Chris Danucci's paced me the last 2 years, so I'm hoping he can get in and I'll pace him. Right, and that'll just be a fun way to enjoy it.
And although you had trouble yesterday, you still ran 10 finishes, 1,000 miles in under a week.
Yeah.
And that was one of your goals.
That was a target of after about 6 or 7 races. It's like, that's kind of cool. That gives me an excuse to try and make sure it's not just the top 10s, but that they're quick enough top 10s as well.
Yeah. And that sounds impressive. Like it's a week, 168 hours. So you ran 167-ish.
Just under, yeah.
Yeah. But what is it? How many hours faster than the next fastest?
So one thing, because I've got all the stats. So AJW took 30 seconds off Ann Trayson's time, which would have been the equivalent on the 1,000-mile point being on the track with her.
Yes.
And that was, his last couple, he took it easier, so he was slowing down, obviously. But yeah, it was just under 20 hours quicker than that.
Nice. So now that you have this out of the way, do you have any... Do you have any? I mean, not just this summer. Like, what is?
Loads of things I want to do, but at the moment, none of them are ultra running.
Well, what are they?
Eating and drinking and
more frappuccinos.
Yeah. Well, road running. I've enjoyed the road running at the beginning of the year. I think next year this gives me an excuse to go to Comrades instead of come here because they're 2 weeks apart, and I've done 7 finishes at Comrades. I'd love to go there and challenge for a gold medal, so top 10 there.
Yeah.
There hasn't been, apart from Max King in the last 30 years or so, there hasn't been an American man, I believe, who's done that. Or
there still wouldn't be. Are you
true, well, by that point, I will actually be American.
Oh, I was just about to ask you if
There have been Brits in the top 10
Comrades is in June, and I was going to ask if you were going to try to go for Team GB in the 100K.
Can't be bothered with that.
No.
Comrades is more fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just didn't know if you were transferring to the road and like that
asking
distance.
someone the day after 100 mile what race they're going to do may change quite a lot, but 100K at the moment doesn't really appeal.
But you've had Comrades in your mind, so
I love Comrades. One of my dogs is called Comrades. That's how much I love it.
The other one's not like
the other one. Amy named.
Okay, it's not Auburn.
The other one is Poco Loco. Poco Loco and Comrades.
There's a lot of good chicken joints named Poco Loco.
There's one in Chamonix. There's a Chamonix
Pollo
place
Loco.
called... No, they're called Poco Loco.
Poco.
Yeah.
Poco. A little crazy
Yeah.
talk.
Yep.
Ah. So, anything else this year? Or are you just gonna...
Well, I'm meant to be doing UTMB at the moment. Again, I'm a little undecided. I've just done a 100 mile. I'd rather not do another one. I'd like to do a fast road one in Florida in December as well. There's Daytona 100 miler. So completely flat road, point to point. Just sounds appealing. I've done loop races.
Yeah.
I'm not as interested in that right now. So I'd
So
maybe
you've
like
done Rocky a couple times?
A lot of times.
So that's not...
Yeah, I don't need to go back. And also, it'd be quicker on the road.
Yeah.
If I want to get a PR and go under 12 hours, that's the place to do it.
Now, is that course point to point, or is okay? So
And
it's not. It can't be a world best.
It can be a road world best because I'm not sure how strict they are on the.
I don't know about the 100.
Well, maybe it has
100K has to be within 50% of the distance, whatever.
World best versus world record.
Oh, it's all.
No one cares.
There's a lot of pedantic. Yes.
Maybe not a world record because there's not the finish line usually has to be within half the race distance at the start. Who cares?
Yeah. So you've got 10 Western States finishes. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite memory from those 10 years?
That's a good one. I just love kind of the build-up to every one of them because at that point, everything's possible.
Yeah.
And that's really fun. And each year that's gotten more and more enjoyable because I know more people. Every time, as you find, you walk through Score, you get 10 feet and you speak to them. 10 feet, speak to someone. So you're trying to get from one side to the other and it takes you an hour. That's just really fun. And kind of like Chamonix as well, but even more so here. And the race means a lot to me, but in some ways it's not the actual running of it that's the main thing.
So it's like, it's so funny because you've had 10 years in a row, you've had great performances, but you can really say, not as a cliche, like it's about the journey, not the destination.
I was really conscious about that after about 6 or 7. Say, if I'm going to go for 10, I can't just have stressful, horrible days and get a good outcome, but I look back and go, that was all miserable. Because what's the point of it? Why am I doing this if that's the whole thing? So I aim to try and enjoy the experience. And every year there's 20 plus miles of misery, guaranteed.
Yeah. Every
one of them will say that. That from the river to the finish is never fun, especially when you're racing people and you're really close or you're going for the record or whatever. But I just, finishing is always good, but that's not really the most important thing. And I kept trying to remind myself that because I was quite devastated when I saw I probably wasn't going to get top 10 after a 10-year project. But really, that's not what should matter.
And what was the hardest moment in those 10 years with regard to Western States?
That, probably, being outside the top 10, because it was kind of taken for granted, all the other ones.
Yeah,
and to some degree, I assumed it was going to happen this time. Then when I saw the colder weather, I thought, okay, well, I'll get a PR too.
Yeah.
Bonus. and
that deflated you?
Totally.
And was there ever a chance when that happened that you were like, I'm not going to make it? I'm not going to...
It wasn't like I was going to walk it in or DNF.
Yeah.
But it definitely took the wind out of my sails. Yeah.
Nice. Well, congratulations on a fun journey to watch, Ian. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks a lot. And thank you for all your coverage.
Oh, thank you.